All right. We live. We live in effect. Here we go, people. Welcome. Tuesday, July 21st, 2020, Quarantine Life. I'm your host, Mr. Brandon Robertson. This is the episode of Robertson Soul. All right. We live, man. In today's episode, man, this is going to be a real chill, fun one for me because now I'm not only here with some of my brethrens, but some of my really dearest and closest friends. And, you know, I got three incredible gentlemen sitting here before us on this screen who, between the three of them, I mean, they just collectively damn, y'all just play with a lot of people, man. Like, my head hurts just thinking about it right now. Like, I don't know what to do right now. It wouldn't be a Brandon Robertson show if I didn't give everyone a proper introduction. So, without further ado, I'm going to go down the list. I'm going to start with my man up in the top corner here, hailing all the way from Winnipeg, Canada, a native of Canada, representing, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Chris Butcher, fine trombone, well-known producer, radio show host, composer, educator. I mean, this man's list of occupations go down the chain, go down the line. He's a leader of a jazz-infused R&B, folk-infused group, heavyweights brass band, and is a frequent member of the world-famous New Orleans. He has toured all around the world. He has toured and in the States. I mean, my dude, and he is also the official mixer off of my album based on a true story. I want everybody to give it up. Welcome, my man, Mr. Chris Butcher. Give it up, my man, Chris.
Thank you, Brandon. Brandon, I gotta hire you to hype me up every time I go on.
I got you, man. No worries. Okay, so we're gonna go down to we're gonna keep it going to the right below my screen. I'm going to actually start to the left corner of where I'm looking at it. It's kind of weird how I'm looking at it. Also hailing from Canada, from out Canada, we got another man. Y'all Canadians, man. Y'all like to come down. What's the move?
You got to get close to the source, bro.
Mr. Bauer on trumpet. He's a wonderful trumpeter. Man, let me see, where do I start? I mean, you're a graduate, right, of Vancouver. Right?
Vancouver Island University, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Got his BA there. Then he decided, like LeBron, to take his talents and come all the way down to the South. Came to the best place. He came to the best place, New Orleans, the Crescent City, New Orleans, and completed his master's degree of New Orleans under the direction of Ed Pearson, Victor Atkins, and many others, Nicholas Payton, a bunch of, the list can go on. And then now he just got this album that he came out with, Walk Don't Run, right?
Yeah, bro.
Which is now doing incredible. It is doing very incredible, man. He's been touring internationally and through the States as well. He's gotten to work with the likes of Robert Glass, Ashlyn Parker, many more, man. Y'all give it up for my man, Mr. Jonathan. Oh, my God, Jonathan.
Stop that. Yeah. It's real nice, man. Thank you.
And last but not least, Chocolate Isaac Hayes himself. My man, all the way from Norfolk, Virginia, which is, I believe it's like northwest of Virginia Beach, right? Northwest of Virginia Beach, somewhere around there. Right, Gerald?
It's Twin City. It's like right next to it, like side by side.
Side by side. Okay. Now, Gerald has an interesting background, everybody, because Gerald, he went to a nice established HBCU, Norfolk State University, which was also HBCU's 2020 Band of the Year. Holla at your boy.
It was Band of the Year.
Boy, come on. You already know what time it is. You know what time it is. He decided to bring his skills, as I stated, skills down to the South and come on over to the good side. Come on over to the good side of Florida, which we call Seminole Land, Florida State University, where he completed his master's degree under the GOAT, the mentor, the legend of Mr. Leon Anderson. For those that don't know, Mr. Leon Anderson is the GOAT for sure.
The GOAT.
And then Gerald decided to say, you know what? I'm not going back to Virginia. I'm not going to stay here in Florida. I'm going to go to the great state of Louisiana and take my talents over to New Orleans. And let me tell you guys, he has established himself around a healthy group of people. Let's see, Nicholas Payton. Who else have you played with? You play with the New Orleans Jazz Orchestra. I mean, you play with these two gentlemen on the screen right here. And then he also had the prestige honor of being one of the last last members. I want to say founder. I caught myself.
Right. Right. Yeah. I ain't found nothing.
One of the few people who had the opportunity to perform with the legend himself, the late pianist, Mr. Ellis Marsalis.
Yeah, man.
Please give it up for Mr. Gerald Watkins Jr. on drum. G, what?
Junior!
God, crazy, bro.
So everybody, Brandon Robertson Soul Hour, and my three guests here are three very prominent musicians, very respected in their areas. And I wanted to take today's show to the great city of New Orleans because we all know that the birthplace and the original origin of our music and what we perform is coming straight out of New Orleans. And so I want to go ahead and ask my guests a few questions before we jump into the music segment of the show. So I'm going to start with Gerald, since Gerald was my last person that was on the screen. Gerald, so what was it like spending time and being an active member of the late legend Ellis Marsalis? And then what was some of the best advice that Mr. Marsalis gave you, not only as a man, but as a musician?
Okay. Yeah, it was a tremendous honor to be able to play with E and be close with him and, just talk, about music and talk about life and talk about sports. We talked about everything. I got a chance to spend, a good amount of time with him. So it was great. I guess, it all started from me just going in, to sit in with him, and going back to my time at Florida State. Leon Anderson would talk about Ellis Marsalis a lot because, Leon Anderson was a former member, of Ellis's group. So before I even got to meet Ellis, I had a great, I had a great picture of what he was in my mind before I even met him. And then when I get a chance, the very first time I did meet him, I introduced myself and told him where I was from and told him who I studied with. And, ever since then, every time I would come around, we would just talk about something different. So it started with me just sitting in with the group. And, after, sitting in for a while, one Friday he left me a bunch of CDs at the desk, and I came in late. They were already playing, and the lady at the door, Susie, she was like, "Hey, he left you some CDs. He left you some music." So he left me like a stack of CDs and a note. It's like, learn these.
Do you mind me asking, Gerald, what discs were those?
Yeah, what record?
They were three. They were three of them. Matter of fact, I think I have them right here. Hold on.
You never got them back, huh?
One of them CDs back. You already know. You know how when you link.
Oh no, he won't get those. He gave them to me. He won't get those back.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, he gave them to me. He was like, "Here." He gave them to me. One of them was, of course, this.
Yeah, I love that record.
Their latest one, but it was two other ones. It was two other ones he gave me. I can't find them now. They were trio records. I think on the first occasion. Mm-hmm. And the other one, what was the name of it? Ellis Marsalis. It was a trio record too. Hold on, look, I'm cheating.
Was it classic?
It wasn't classic. It wasn't classic. No, it was a newer one. Shoot, I forgot the name of it, but it was on the first occasion. It was this one,
Mm-hmm.
and it was another one. And I just sat with those records for a little bit, and then I think maybe a week or two later, the lady who handles his business, Lisa McCarthy, who also unfortunately passed away.
Mm.
She reached out to me and was like, "Hey, we would like you to play some gigs with them." So, playing with him, man, was just, just a tremendous honor, because he was always a great mentor to me. Even when I first got the gig, the first couple of performances, didn't go well. Well, at least I didn't think they went well, because I was trying to be other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the most important thing that Ellis taught me was to be myself,
Mm-hmm.
Because I looked up to the people who played the gig before me. So many people have played the gig that I respect and admire, Jason and Stephen Gordon and Adonis Rose and Herlin Riley and Joe Dyson. All these cats that played the gig before me, and I was kind of trying to do their thing.
Right.
Ellis was like, "Hey, man, if I wanted them, I could get them on the gig. I got you because I like what you do, and I want you to be yourself, and I want you to find your voice." So for E, it was always about me finding my voice and, bringing my unique thing to what was there, So, it was always a pleasure to play with Ellis, and I learned a lot from Jason Stewart and Ashlyn Parker and Derek Doge. They kind of helped me out, because we didn't rehearse. I didn't rehearse with the band not one time.
Wow.
Ellis never asked me if I knew a song. He never asked me, "Hey, are you free to rehearse?" No, you just go to the gig. He plays, and you play along. You use your ears. So a lot of stuff I was learning on the fly. A lot of stuff. That's why, and the irony is, the songs that he gave me on the CD, like the stuff this is probably the only CD that we used stuff from. Like a lot of the other stuff we didn't even do. I guess he just wanted me to get a feel for what his plan was and what he was hearing. But it was a tremendous honor, and I miss him all the time. And the biggest thing I learned from him was to, you're there for a reason. If someone asks you to play, or someone wants you to be a part of their group, do your thing. Don't try to be like the predecessors before you. You respect the tradition and respect what they did, but always bring your thing.
Right. Yeah, man. And that's important, man, because one thing I can say, listening to Ellis and, listen to the great musicians that come out of New Orleans, everybody have their unique sound. I got a chance to play a show last year with Leroy Jones. And, he was real influential, man, like playing with him, like listening to his sound. And I'm like, man, you got that.
Yeah, Leroy.
Yeah,
serious.
man.
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest right there.
That is a sound that you cannot replicate, man. Like that's very hard to. So, man, which helps me jump into my next question. This actually is for Chris. Chris, you coming from Canada, you born and raised and growing up in Canada, Canada has a very unified scene from an outsider looking in. Now, somebody who grew up in Canada, there's those internal things that occur that, that also happens here in the States. But in terms of a unification, when you look at as a country, as a whole, Canada and the musicians are pretty united in terms of, like, because of the States, we're so broken up in different regions, right? So from you, what was it like for you growing up in Winnipeg and being around the music in the Canadian scene? And then how was that scene currently versus you being in New Orleans States now and the music that you're dealing with right now?
Yeah, man. I mean, the thing about the Canada's a little strange. I mean, first off, it's
I'm sorry, I'm gonna hit mute.
like the second. It's the second largest country in terms of landmass in the world, but there's 30 million people. So I mean, we might look at it and we might kind of see that, but I actually personally feel it's really, you know, if you're in Toronto, it's kind of like New York. It's like the center of the world, you know. It's like they're not really aware of the Vancouver scene or what's going on in Winnipeg. And also Canada's divided on language, where Quebec City, the province of Quebec and Montreal, you know, and they say in Canada there's two music industries, and that's the French, which is connected in with France and certain other French-speaking countries, and the English. And to be honest, I feel that Canada is very sparse. You know, it's a I mean, it's not divided in the sense of, you know, the United States has its own thing. It's kind of funny, the United States, when actually, you know, it's again, you know, has many different cultures and everything. But that being said, I mean, I enjoyed growing up in Winnipeg. There was a great bass player who started a program at the University of Manitoba right before I went to school. So I had access to taking lessons from Wycliffe Gordon, from Steve Turre, from Andre Hayward, from, you know, Miguel Zenon. And he was just bringing, you know, cat after cat of the greatest players from the States. And I think that had a big effect on me. Then I moved to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto's a beautiful city. Toronto is very much, I would explain it as a little New York City, in that there's people from all over the world. They say it might be the most multicultural or diverse city in the world, in that more than 50% of the population speaks a language other than English as their first language.
Mm-hmm.
So in Toronto, yeah, I went to music school in Toronto, but I kind of personally never felt, you know, the Toronto jazz scene tends to be kind of an old white boys club, you know?
Okay.
And, you know, when I finished school, I was busiest playing with Cuban musicians, with Jamaican musicians, with Brazilian musicians. I had my own band, Heavyweights Brass Band, inspired by the New Orleans tradition. I also had another mentor, Archie Aline, who was a great drummer, who played with Billie Holiday, and we went to Barbados Jazz Festival in Antigua. I had another mentor, Jane Bennett, who she's made records with all the great Cuban musicians and multi-Grammy nominated. I had another mentor, Jay Douglas, a great Black American music singer. You know, he's got a nephew who tours with Wynton every year. His name's Denzel Sinclair, a great singer. But so to me, the thing about Toronto is, from a jazz perspective, I didn't love it, you know, but I loved getting to, you know, play with these amazing musicians from around the world. And kind of what led me to New Orleans is that deep connection to that tradition. You know, I live in the Sixth, in the Treme, where, you know, a block from Shannon Powell, a block from Congo Square. And you just kind of, the main thing I would like to emphasize is that this is the only city in the world where jazz music sounds like jazz music is a folk music.
Right.
Everywhere else, it's taught in school, even in New York, Detroit, these other cities with African-American roots. There's this connection, you know, or, you know, oh, my grandmother knew Duke Ellington or whatever it was, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's just, you know, I went from playing a lot of folk music and a lot of other folks music in Toronto to, this is kind of the only city where there's, you know, the Marsalis family, there's the Lasty Riley family with all these musicians. And there's just cats that learn to play from being kids in the streets or at school, using their ears. And like Gerald said, it's like, you know, Ellis wasn't talking about it a lot. He just kind of, you played along. And that's the same, my experience playing with Delphio Marsalis, or playing with the Treme Lafitte Brass Band, or playing with James Andrews and the Crescent City All-Stars. It's kind of like, you either going to get, you know, Delphio would just be like, you know, you're either going to figure it out or you aren't. You know, it's kind of on you. So I'm glad to be here.
That's good, man. And you know, I'm glad you touched on that because you know, me being someone who pretty much born and raised in Florida, or I should say in the States, you know, I've only been to Canada once. I've been to Nova Scotia, so like that's the only that's like in the cut.
Yeah, that's the Maritimes.
That's gorgeous, man. That's gorgeous.
Have some lobster over there.
I actually, that's funny because I had Alaskan, like, or not Alaskan, but like Canadian, like crab legs, and these things are like, they look. I was like, oh, these crabs, these Canadian crabs, they're like bigger than the crabs in the U.S. They're like, you know what I'm saying? So, so yeah, man. Hey, that's good. That's an interesting fact though, because you know, in different parts of the world, when you go somewhere, musically, there's all these common similarities that you would come across. But like you said, you know, what you learned from in Toronto and what you learned from those musicians, when you came to New Orleans, you finally had a chance to like open that voicing, the things that you learned and then expand upon us. So that's very unique. So John, I saved yours.
Wait,
man. Yeah.
Can I just blow up Gerald's spot for a second real quick?
Blow up his spot real quick.
All right. So I remember when Gerald started playing with Ellis, and we were doing this Herbie Hancock tribute night at a place in town here called the Dragon's Den. Gerald, you frozen there, man? Where's Gerald at?
Gerald got shy. It might be his internet connection or his camera.
He's borrowing his neighbor's Wi-Fi right now, man.
Anyway, man, the real of it is just like, you could tell, oh man, now he's just gone. But you could just tell how real and how serious Gerald was about the music and just about everything. Because I remember congratulating. I remember saying, man, I heard that you're gonna start playing some gigs with Ellis, man. I'm really proud of you. I'm super happy for you. And he took a sip of his drink and he looked at me. He said, yeah, man, I'm ready for it. He's like, yeah, man, I'm ready for it. And I just remember thinking, like, man, what a warrior! Like, what just? Oh, there he is.
There you
Gerald,
go.
what's up, bro? Gerald, turn your mic on, man.
Okay.
Do you?
My fault. Was I
All
the
right.
only one who left?
Yeah,
Yeah, you were the one that left.
All right.
Your neighbor kicked you off his Wi-Fi, Gerald.
No. Okay. Oh, it's cool.
All right.
Because Brandon was talking, and all of a sudden it stopped. So I just sat for a couple seconds. I was like, "Is it me? Is it me, or is it y'all?" Okay, it was me. I got you. I fixed it. We good.
Gerald, do you remember what you said to me when I congratulated you on starting to play with Ellis?
I don't.
It was my birthday, man. We were playing at the Dragon's Den doing that Herbie Hancock night a couple.
Oh
years
yeah.
back.
Okay. What did I say though? What did I say?
I said, man, congratulations. I'm super proud of you. That's awesome. And you took a sip of your drink and you said, yeah, man, I'm ready for it.
I man, because I was, man. Like,
You were, bro.
You know, when I first moved here, and not saying that I was ready for it, in the sense that like I came into it like knowing what to expect, because I really didn't, because nothing was communicated to me. But I trusted. I knew I was prepared. You know, I knew I was prepared, because you're never gonna 100% know what's gonna go on, you know. And in school, you know, one thing that our teachers used to always say to us was be comfortable being uncomfortable. So I was a lot more comfortable being uncomfortable than I was, you know, earlier times of my thing. So I trusted in my preparation, you know, and I trusted in that, you know, whatever was thrown at me, because I didn't know what was going to, you know, happen, but I would be able to, you know, work it out. And not saying that I didn't have my bumps and bruises along the way, because I did.
Nah, bro.
You know,
I remember that moment, because I remember being like, that's what it means to be a warrior, man. That's what it means to.
Yeah,
that's what it
grind,
means
man.
to be like, exactly. That's what it means to dedicate yourself.
Yep.
You know, to be like, no,
I
I'm
had
ready
nothing else
for
to do
it.
but it.
I'm gonna deal with it.
Yo,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
John.
Anyway,
Thanks, bro.
yeah.
Thanks, man. I forgot all about that, man. Thanks,
Bro,
for
I'll
bringing that up, bro.
remind you anytime you need to hear it. 'Cause I never forget that shit.
Yo,
Thank you, man.
I want to ask you this quick question before we jump into
Mhm.
the music segment of it real quick. So, you also being a native Canada, and what was it like for you making a transition into the States and beginning your music career here? And I seen reading your bio, you might have gotten a chance to do some work for Robert Glasper or Eric Benet. Like, what was that like, man? What was that?
Well, those. I mean, Gerald was definitely on both of those gigs. Chris,
I was
I
on the
don't know
Eric Benet gig, yeah.
Yeah, you were on the Benet gig. So like, because those were both with NOJO, because when NOJO kind of came back from its hiatus, there was almost this vibe that like Adonis kind of like it appeared to be that we wanted to be like the world's greatest R&B big band, which was super cool. You know what I mean? It was like New Orleans music and just encompassing so much more of like what New Orleans music is than just the word jazz. But working with both of those artists was just absolutely incredible. And I'd love at any point for Chris or Gerald to chime in on what their experiences were. But the thing I just appreciated about both of them was they had such a substantial level of clarity and sincerity in the art that they were trying to create. Like Eric Benet, I don't know if for the listeners that might not be hip to how serious of a musician he actually is like that guy came prepared. That guy came and was like rock solid and just absolutely ready for anything Victor or Ed or any of the arrangers were going to throw at his music.
Yeah,
he
knew what
came
he
prepared.
wanted. To me,
he knew exactly what he wanted.
He came in, he could sing any of the parts. I remember him singing different parts to the trumpet section. When Alexei got on the kabasa or whatever, he's like, no, that's not it. Like, he was just like that, he wasn't one of those guys that was like, I don't know. It's like I mean, I can't say if he sung with the big band many times, but he was like, no, I want this from the trumpet, sang this line. Oh, can you guys get this harmony? Serious guy.
Yeah. And I think there's just like, there was an incredible level of authenticity to that artistry and being like, it's not about jazz. It's not about Black American music. It's not about whatever it is. It's about, he was an artist and he knew what he wanted. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And like, yeah, I mean, and Glasper was also just like so incredible. We did a tribute that night to the music of Herbie Hancock, and Robert just came in, and man, he put his fingers down on the piano, and I don't know if it's a generational thing or not, but like Gerald and myself, and I mean, just everybody, especially the young cats, were just like, let me go stand near this piano real quick, because I need to see whatever these fingers are doing.
Right.
Yeah. With Glasper, man, that for me, that was a religious experience, because I didn't come to jazz through the front door, so to speak. I came to jazz through the back door, and Robert Glasper was instrumental in me being even intrigued by jazz music.
Right.
Right. I come from gospel music roots, and heavily gospel, and heavily R&B and neo soul and hip hop, coming from Virginia. And Glasper was that bridge of like, oh, that's cool. But then he's like playing some like Thelonious Monk stuff, and then he's playing like some Bud Powell. That's like, oh, this is dope. Let me check out what he's referring to. And then, so man, when we worked with Glasper, man, that was just, for me, man, I was just like, man, full circle. It's like, dang, man, here I am, playing with the guy who kind of introduced me and opened the door, for my curiosity to kind of explore this music. So that was a spiritual experience for me.
Man, that's what's up, man. I when I got a chance to go to the Gen conference and I got to see you guys, perform with Tia Fuller, just that level and Sean Jones, just level of musicianship that y'all was able to display and be so comfortable in front of all them people. That gave me so much hope and inspiration because me and G, we used to talk about a lot in school. I used to be like, man, Gerald, you're gonna go off and become famous, bro. You're gonna forget all about me. Say that, Gerald. I used to tell him that we used to be in the practice room and I'd be sitting there, we be sharing together. I'd be like, bro, man, you gonna get famous, bro. You gonna forget all about me. I'm gonna just be left out of here in the dust. And he's man, be quiet, man.
Why, Brandon? Why would you say that, bro?
I did not go as
also just like, what does that even mean?
What does that
society?
mean? What does that mean? Right. What does that mean, man?
But what I mean is like,
Yeah.
friends, you guys are my friends, so it's cool. I tell my students always like to joke with me. They say, Professor, you know a lot of famous people. I'm like, my friends? And they're like, yeah, friends with a lot of famous people. I say, see, that's the misconception. If I thought they were famous, they wouldn't necessarily be my friends because famous people don't hang out with regular people. That's the like,
I don't know about that.
no, but
All right.
I'm talking about like A-list Hollywood, like the
You're talking about like people who buy into the concept of being famous.
You would be surprised, bro. You would be surprised, like quote unquote famous people, man, are regular people, man. Like
I know.
Especially here in New Orleans, we run into quote unquote famous people all the time, man. Especially like I remember Jazz Fest last year, and Dave Chappelle being at what's that place that closed? That's on the corner.
Bro,
now.
we threw down at Rare Form with Dave. He shut the place
at Rare
down,
Form, right?
He walked in. He
just,
walked
just
into
taking
that
drinks.
shit. Yeah, he
I
walked into that
I was talking
thing.
to my wife.
And he said,
the other day. Sorry, bro.
No,
I was
you're
talking
straight.
to my wife the other day, and we was watching a movie with Amy Schumer.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember she came to the Ellis gig and was just like regular, So, bro, I think seeing people on TV or when people have some type of status to them, we try to elevate them. But honestly, bro, like this is regular people, man. Regular. Eric Benet was regular. Robert Glasper was regular.
But like that, but that audience was ready for Benet.
Regular, man.
Oh, that's funny though, man. Hey,
Yeah, bro.
Well, check.
Dave Chappelle walked up into that club, though. To be fair, like of all those stories, like Dave Chappelle walked up in that club, and he just said, with like a bunch of people, and he just said, "This is my after party now."
Yeah, right. I don't know if I was there that night, man, but it was like a string of like 4 or 5 days, man. Jazz.
Oh, bro, he kept coming through.
He was just popping up, and it was cool, buying people drinks, just
he
kicking it.
He asked if the band took requests, and they said, yeah, and he said, cool, and then he put $100 in the tip jar, and he was like, I'll think of it.
I wasn't on the gig that night.
I'll think of it.
Look, I'm a shout out to everybody.
Yeah.
The whole entire organization that put together Jazz Fest. We need to keep Jazz Fest next.
Yeah, man.
And we should also give them a shout out to I guess it was Jazz and Heritage, the foundation, but they probably helped just about every musician in New Orleans through the pandemic.
They were clutch, man.
I got that check. Yeah, man.
Shout out. Well, guys, let me get into so here's what we're gonna do with the sake of time, because I just like chat with y'all, man. Y'all the homies. So I'm gonna go through the list of songs. Now to my audience that's watching this right now. Oh, hold up. I gotta give a big shout out real quick. Shout out to Amina. I just seen
Hey!
Oh, what up, Amina?
I just seen Amina pop up. Shout out to the homie, to the other bass player who holds it down, a New Orleans bass who hold it down, coming all the way from Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to shout my homie. I seen she popped up on the feed, so I had to shout her out real quick. So so everybody who's watching this, so the Brandon Robertson Soul Hour, I have all my guests pick 3 records, and they pick one song from each of those records that represents 3 of one of the key words: life, freedom, and perseverance. So Each of my guests provided me with links. Oh, she said, "What up, y'all? What up, y'all?"
Hey, Amira.
How y'all seeing this?
Man, you got.
I think you got to be on the Facebook.
It's on Facebook Live. Yeah.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
But be careful about having them both going at the same time, because
Nah, I ain't gonna mess with it. I ain't gonna mess with it.
double screen with the monitor. You know, I'm all.
Okay, y'all tech savvy. I got you.
Shout out to Adam Klein for those that don't know, man, who hook you up with man with the producing and stuff. Shout out to my man Chris with the producing, man. They'll hook y'all up. They got you. So, Chris, let's go ahead and start with you, man. So I want you to pick one of these three just to talk about. Just one of the three, okay? So,
yeah, man. I picked to me a record that I always go back to. It was in my father's collection. He had he had all these discs, and Kind of Blue. It's on a lot of people's lists. Ain't anything fancy about it, but I just love the sound. In particular, as I'm getting more into producing and engineering, it just sounds great. It's recorded Columbia 30th Street studio. So to me, that's life, because, I always, you go back on three of the tunes, Coltrane's left and Cannonball's right. And then on the two tunes from the other session, Cannonball's left and Coltrane is right. Those sounds, just that vibe, to me, it's perfection. Everyone talks about, going in the studio and just making music. But, obviously Miles had the best band of all time, in my opinion. And, this ability to let them all do their thing really shone. And as an engineer, just the sounds on that record are something I aspire to as well. And beauty in simplicity. Quite often, particularly with Miles. Miles is playing, Bill Evans playing as well. The other two, I picked Bob Marley, Robert Nesta Marley, who's one of my, likely the most important international musician of all time. Apparently, if you go up Mount Everest, they got posters on the base camps of him. Musicians associated with him are known in China. They got bars in tribute to him in every part of the world. Just really kind of broke down, just hit us as human beings. And War is a lyric. It's not his lyric. He took it from Haile Selassie, and it was a speech he did at the United Nations until the philosophy that you check it out. I'm not going to say it, but it's about, until there are no longer first class and second class citizens of any nation, everywhere will be war. So Bob took Haile Selassie's speech to the United Nations and set that to music. The last record I chose was an album I'm on. I figured, I had to do that, I guess, Is that okay? It's the newest Delphio Marsalis and his Uptown Jazz Orchestra recording. We did it at Esplanade up this street here. And Delphio is a big mentor to me. I came down to study with him here, and I've been playing with his band on and off since. And to me, he's just an inspiration as a trombonist, yes, but also as a producer. The Winton recordings he produced, he's an inspiration to me on a lot of levels. So, and he's out there still killing the trombone. And, hopefully the band will get back to Snug, because that's a special gig.
Man,
He's here in New Orleans.
That's what's up, man. Thank you for that, Chris. And everybody who's watching, our engineer, co-producer, Adam, is uploading the all of the links onto the comment chat, so y'all can check. Watching that right now. Oh, got some weird here.
Is anybody else's sound all messed up?
You got a little lagged out. I think we're good now, though.
I blame Gerald.
Gerald's Wi-Fi is stealing the Wi-Fi again.
It's your neighbor's internet, Gerald.
Stealing the Wi-Fi. Okay, well, while Gerald's coming back to get his yo, JB, man, let me get you on here. So go through your three tracks. Let's start with the first one. With that. Gerald. You.
Hey, it could be me. It could be me because I can have. Hold on.
Adam, we might need to mute Gerald.
AT&T Wi-Fi.
We gotta mute this guy.
Hey, Hey man, in New Orleans, it don't matter if you got Cox or AT&T. It sucks, you know. Both ball games, you know, you're hardly in the ball game.
So audience members, we're having some screening difficulties with one of our members here. Once he gets situated, we'll jump back in. But John, are you still there? John, are you still there?
Yeah. I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm trying to get back here. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, my man Gerald's is all Isaac Hayes. You know, what's that buttermilk soul? What's the Isaac Hayes joint? He's on the cover with the big rose gold rope. Yo, anyway, John, your 3 records, man. Let's start with the first one, the Marquise Hill.
So, man, Marquise to me is just like another just shining example of those artists in this music today. You know, steeped in the tradition of Black American music, but just so grounded in who he is as both an artist and a performer. And just this latest thing he put out, the Love mixtape, it's just like, I've even had people be like, I don't dig it, it's not really jazz. And I'm like, what are you talking about though? Like, why just because these people have, you've defined them previously as a jazz musician, do they have to keep making things that you think are jazz? And the track I chose was the intro. It's called Roy's Intro, and he's chopped up some speech from Roy Hargrove at the very beginning. And like, whether or not you are a religious person, for me, I do feel just a connection to kind of like an otherworldly existence through the ancestors that played this music.
Right.
And it's just beautiful when he speaks about it. It's almost about like being a conduit. Mm-hmm. And just trying to better people's lives. And I just feel like a big thing about coronavirus, because you know we got to talk about that at some point, is just like it's really kind of opened a lot of minds to this space, mine including especially, to the space where I'm like, I just don't give a shit anymore about like how impressive people think I am and whatnot. Like, I just want to make people's days better. I just want to like spread love and happiness. And I just want to be a conduit for this music to flow through me. And just the combination of Marquise being just the incredible artist that he is, and these beautiful words from Roy, just hit me in such a way where I was like, yeah, okay, that's what's up. That's what needs to be done and talked about, you know?
All right. And then you chose, for Freedom, you chose Max Roach, Freedom Day, off the album We Insist, you know, with Abby Lincoln and Coleman Hawkins. You know, that's a heavy record, man. That's a heavy record. Tell us why you chose that song, Freedom Day.
I chose that song, man, you know, not to hit the nail on the head or anything like that or be too obvious, but I think as we move forward, and we create more history in this music, as we move forward, there's been a really serious sect of musicians who want to kind of depoliticize this music. You know, like, people are all for Clifford Brown and Max Roach. They're all for those records, but they stopped kind of caring, I guess. I don't know what it is. Like, they didn't do their homework and they didn't dig deeper into what did Max Roach do later in his life. And I feel like there's just so many people that want to tell musicians to leave politics out of it even today. And I'm like, man, all of your favorite musicians were political figures and had political statements. Mm-hmm. So I think there's the protest musics and the musics of just like the plight of the people are just so important to be brought up in the same conversation as being like, oh, you dig this aspect of Max Roach? Like, you should check this out because he had a message. He wasn't just a drummer.
Right.
You know? Right.
Yeah. All right. And then, you know, to add on to that real quickly, that album cover, you know, when you look at the album,
mm-hmm. That's some heavy shit, right?
Like, the album cover in itself, I was telling my students, I said, guys, there was a story that Bud Powell in Notes and Tones, that book Notes and Tones, and I forget which musician that was talking about it. And I was reading the story, but they was talking about Bud Powell and they're at this gig and how they went up to this diner and the owner said, you know, you got to sit in the color section. And he was like, hey man, you know, we just want a quick bite of pie and then we gonna be out. Like we just in and out, you know, we just in and out. And Buddy said that was the first time they had a 12 gauge shotgun put to their face, like, you know, like, hey, sit over there.
Mm-hmm.
Something different, right? And so that whole entire album, even when you listening to the record in itself, it's like you can feel the tension, you can feel what's happening during that time frame. So you're right. You know, these guys were political figures. I mean, Miles was definitely a political figure in his own right. You know what I'm saying?
And that context is just so key to understanding that all art exists side by side with what was happening socially and politically. So it's like you can't just disassociate yourself from the stories and the truths that were happening that caused that music, you know.
And then the last one, sorry, Chris, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was just
please.
gonna say, I mean, it's not even that they're side by side. It's that art is a reflection of culture. You know, art is of that. You know?
Right. Well, and then your last one, you picked Sam Cooke, A Change Is Gonna Come, for Perseverance. And what made you conclude to that one?
That one just came right to me. Like when I saw the word perseverance, and I just thought of like hearing those lyrics and just you know, like there's been a lot of talk about Black Lives Matter recently, and just like, you know, for years now. But and there's a lot of realization from people that like that recently we've had like the biggest civil rights movement since the 60s, but that didn't just happen. You know, that didn't just happen overnight. Like there's obvious factors that drove now to being that moment, but that there's just so much work that went into it. But I just feel like that concept of perseverance just keeps reminding me of like the work that's been put in, and the work that's going to be put in, and the work that needs to be put in, but that also can't keep you from enjoying your day. That also can't keep you from like from like, you as a Black man in America should be able to live your life that you have and love the life that you have, even though we know that just like we need to do so much work.
Right, exactly. No, that's very true, man. Very true. Well, thank you for that, man. And that's so with all these really good records that you guys have displayed to us, Gerald, last but not least. So you picked.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, bro.
Okay, I'm back. All right, cool.
The Verizon man is back.
Hey, we can't get Verizon here in New Orleans. Even a choice.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yo.
All right, so disclaimer. Before you announce my records, I picked 3 different records. But Brandon made me change my records. So
oh man, all right.
I had the 3 classic records. I guess that
what were
everybody
they
picked or whatever.
I bet you one of them was Live at the Vanguard. Live at the Vanguard?
No.
It was some Eddie Harris shit. This is some Eddie Harris.
This is soul hour. So when I think soul, the first person I think when I think soul is Aretha Franklin.
Oh yeah, man.
So my first record is, as soon as Brandon gave us the assignment, it's like, hey, pick a soul record. Aretha Franklin, Live at the Fillmore. Like that was the first record. And then I picked Donny Hathaway Live. And then I picked Marvin Gaye, What's Going On. Like those are like the pantheon of soul recorts.
Yeah. Now what you end up with though?
But I guess somebody else picked them, so Brandon made me choose some other ones that I like, but not.
Those
like
were Bauer's 3 records, you know.
Like legit.
But you go ahead, Brandon. I should put that disclaimer in there.
Legit, like every week somebody has picked that one of those 3 songs. That's how I was like, Gerald, let's switch it up. Let's.
Good music
Hey,
is
man.
good music.
I know. I ain't tripping about it. You know what, Gerald? I'm all right. Since you the guest on my show, right? Since you the guest, I want you to pick. You know what? We gonna just do it. What you want the people to know? Which 3 records? What's your 3 soul records, Gerald? Don't worry about me.
Man, see, and that's the thing about those records. It's like, it's not even a song. It's just like the whole record is just like, the whole record is a vibe. When I think of Donny Hathaway, that live Donny Hathaway, and you can hear the audience singing with him, and you could feel the energy of the room through that record. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, so like Someday We All Be Free, you know.
Right.
Matter of fact, I just recorded with Roger Harper last week, and we did a song off that record. Which song did we do off that record? We did what did we do? All right, it'll come to me. We did 2 songs off that record, matter of fact. But yeah, that Donny record, man, you could just feel. I love those soul records. The same thing with Aretha live at the Fillmore West. You could feel the audience. So like, you know, your 3 words were perseverance, freedom, and
Life.
Like, those concerts are the epitome. That think about what was going on. You know, I'm not sure on the exact years that those records were recorded, but I'm assuming the 70s.
Me too.
You know, Yeah, you got the computer. Yeah, whatever. Sorry, I don't know my homework.
It was a Thursday.
But,
and it was 3 o'clock, and it was not 3.
It was 3 p.m. on a Thursday. Yeah, it was.
yeah.
Bruh, Gerald, what you not know about this?
Sorry, but those records, man, like, it's just the epitome. Because I'm a church baby, so those records, when you can hear the call and response, when you can hear the audience moaning and groaning, and when you can hear, you know, random people shouting out, you know, sing, or you can hear the band and it's real musicians, and not, you know, you can hear mistakes, you can hear little mistakes. It's a live show. So like that right there is the raw, unadulterated, that's soul music to me. You know, sorry I didn't break it down into 3 words like everybody else did.
Nah.
But, those whole records, man, it's like I can't even like pick one song. You know, it's just when you just kind of just let it play. You know what I'm saying? You just that's just like the epitome of the black experience, of the black soul experience. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, nah, see, Donny Hathaway to me is like the voice. I think of when I think of male, you know, soul. Like people,
Him and Marvin, man. Like,
argue Marvin Gaye or not Marvin Al Green, but man,
Al, yep.
But when I think about politically, like who their music had messages, and Marvin and Donnie, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro. So the audience members, what Gerald had sent me second, that, you know, because I wanted him to get his original tunes out, because bro, you got so many people backing you up right now on Facebook, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Word. Okay.
You should have let him kept his records. You should. I was like, okay, man, my fault. Maybe, you know what? I'm not gonna tell my guests what to do anymore from here on out. But what?
Yeah, man, let them pick, bro.
For what originally Gerald had picked was Stevie Wonder's. You should let him kept his record. I know, man.
But my second 3 are also good though. Go ahead and read them off.
So you got Stevie Wonder's Sir Duke,
Mm-hmm.
Earth, Wind and Fire's Fantasy, And then you got PJ Morton's an Ordinary Love.
Yeah,
Bruh.
live in LA, the live version, bro.
Yeah. So all three now Fantasy, man, that whole record, bro. That
That whole record.
Oh.
Same thing with Sir Duke.
Yeah.
That's off of Songs in the Key
Songs in the
of
Key of Life.
Bro, fire, man. Listen. When I think of Earth, Wind, and Fire, right? Like Shining Star. Like, do you know how many times I heard that as a kid in movies, and I didn't know that was Earth, Wind, and Fire until I got older. Like, I had no clue that was an Earth, Wind, and Fire song until I got older. I was like,
Oh wow, yeah.
Bro, that was the song that like I was like, wait, horns? Like that was before I played the trumpet. I was like, when that comes in, I was like, do. And yeah. Wow! Oh man.
Yeah.
But you know what I appreciate about the three of you guys, like when we were at the Gen conference, and I got a chance to go to this session, Kermit's, and it as lit as it was that day. We went like dumb packed. Like that reminded me of 3 a.m. packed, right?
Yeah.
And
that night was stupid.
That
night was stupid.
In the room, listening to all of these different, all these incredible musicians, like from local musicians, from local legends that was there. And what I appreciate about New Orleans is that New Orleans has its own authenticity and its own sound. Like you can't replicate that sound anywhere else. Like you could duplicate it, and then you can, you could try to emulate that sound, but you can't replicate its authenticity. Not if it's not out of New Orleans. So my last question, and I don't see any questions here. I don't know if Adam has any questions from the audience, but if not, my last question for the three of you all is, what in Corona pandemic, what are New Orleans musicians doing now to help Savage and keep the music going?
Who wants to start?
I mean, a lot of it's moved to recording. I feel grateful that, I've had so many cats in here in the studio, Herlin and the Groove Masters did a tune, Get Back, for the pandemic here. I mean, lots of cats doing live streams, lots of cats looking out for the next album, trying to just keep it rolling,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing that I really admire about this city is the resiliency, man.
That's the word, man.
New Orleans is a resilient city, and I'm really grateful, and I'm really impressed and in awe of how the city responds to not danger, but to troubles. So New Orleans, we're doing a lot of the same things that other places are doing with the live streams and with stuff in the studio and stuff like that. But the one thing that makes New Orleans great, and which makes me thankful, to be able to be here, is the fact that Corona, man, like, yeah, a lot of places it got down, but here, man, the music is gonna always find a way to survive and always find a way to breathe, So even before Corona, people were playing outside, people were playing on the streets, people here do it for the love of the art. Other places in other cities around the country, people playing gigs because they got to pay the rent, or they gotta, feed their family, and we do the same things here. We are musicians full time, but what separates New Orleans from a lot of places, and this is coming from an outsider looking in, is that the love for the music and the love for I've just gotten up and went into people's house and we just played. No live stream.
Oh yeah.
No live stream, no money, no nothing. It's just like, hey man, I miss playing with y'all. You know,
Yeah, we
y'all
just
want to
need
get
it.
up. Y'all want to get up and just come to the house and just play some tunes. You know, tomorrow, you know, I'm getting up with some friends and it's like, hey man, I miss playing with y'all, man. We ain't played in a long time, man. Y'all just want to come to the house and just hang and we'll just play some tunes. You know, no money, no live stream. You know, the only reason y'all know that we're doing it is because I said it. So
where you gonna be, bro?
Yeah, I will talk. The love of the music is real. You know, the love, people still want to play. People still want to share when there aren't too many gigs going around. You know, but people still getting at it. You know, people still working on records and doing these things. So when the pandemic is lifted, and once we get past it, I think it's going to be a renaissance in New Orleans amongst other places. And it's really going to be. I choose to be optimistic about where we're going to be once this thing is over. So yeah, New Orleans, man, it's really about the love of the music, and I really appreciate cats that. We like getting paid and we like going places and we like traveling and playing in front of people. But at the end of the day, we musicians and we just miss playing with each other.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of that, and I've been really thankful for the musician community around here.
Yeah, man. Well,
I think.
I get John want to say something.
No, it's all right, man. It's all right. I mean, if we got time, if we don't, it's chill. But what's good? We got a little bit of time.
No, I gotta say finish your last thought. Then we.
All right, man. Yeah. Okay. So it's I hate to sound like a cliche, but kind of like sometimes things become cliches because they're true, and even that's a cliche, right? But it's just like New Orleans like music is one of the most important things here, but it's also just one aspect of the culture. And I think that when you describe that New Orleans sound that you're talking about that thing that you learn from being here and living here, and that thing that you can't take away from books and you can't even necessarily take away from records. It's just that there are so many other aspects to New Orleans life other than just the music. And even though coronavirus has done a seriously great job of stripping us from many of those things, it's like the spirit that was in those things, it still exists, and it's just finding other outlets and it's finding other spaces to habitat.
Yeah, I
got you.
too. I got you. Yeah, man. Well, I got our brother Boone. Shout out to my man Boone.
Yo, what up, bro?
Yo, so Boone, Rob Boone, for those who don't know, that's drummer for the Count Basie Orchestra. That's my man. Shout out to my.
Oh wow! Thank you for checking in.
He was asking, do any of y'all have any live stream shows coming up? And if so, can you let the audience know so we know where to find you?
I'll be the first to go. I absolutely do not. I absolutely do not. I've been kind of keeping to myself. We were trying to visit my partner's family, so isolation was incredibly important to us. I did, however, splurge a little bit on some recording time in a space that was big enough to allow Gerald and our pianist and our bassist and everybody to have their own space. So Gerald and I will be having some new singles coming up in the fall that Chris down here is mixing, and then we'll have a new record coming up in the new year. But in the meantime, I am trying to do some live stream things, and if you ever need a trumpet player, Mr. Drummer, for the Count Basie Orchestra,
Make that plug, right? Make that plug.
Hey, what about Gerald, Chris? Any of y'all got any upcoming?
No, everything I have. Sorry, I'm turning on some ice. Hold on.
This guy.
Everything. I don't have any live stream gigs coming up. Everything I have is either a wedding. People are starting to get married again, which is cool. Or some type of or church. You can watch my church on Sunday.
Okay. All right. Rob said, I got you. All right.
So I've been doing a lot of live streams from my house for other artists. On Friday, we got the king of the Treme, Shannon Powell, former drummer, Terry here, former drummer with the great Canadian Diana Krall.
Right.
He's rolling in on Friday with his trio, Torkanovsky,
Woo.
and Peter on clarinet, and we're going live. Peter
Harris?
No,
not the bass player, the clarinet player.
Oh.
But they're coming in trio. They're going Blue Note, New York City live, 5 p.m. Central, 4 Central, 5 Eastern. So check that out on Blue Note NYC, or check that out on Shannon's page or on my page.
Word.
Yeah,
it's drums, guitar, and clarinet.
It's gonna be drums, piano, Torkanovsky.
Yeah, Torkanovsky, yeah.
My brand new Y that just came in today, and we got I can see this cat, but I've never played with him. I talked to him once. Who is it? But a clarinet player. He was in the other day with the great trumpet player Kevin Lewis, and Obu on bass, and Torkin himself. So, we're always kind of rolling from here. I'm doing a lot of studio sessions for other people, finishing up. I thought when you said Boone, you were talking about Travari Huff Boone.
Travari. Oh, yeah.
Boone.
Here on Thursday, doing the percussion and saxophone overdubs for his album. So,
speaking of which, bro, we got to do some vocal overdubs.
Yes, sir. So I'm grateful to have the studio. I'm grateful. I just love being around the environment that has this much music. So some of it's getting out there in live streams or on Facebook posts, but as Gerald mentioned, even if you don't know about it, it's happening. And the city's certainly going to get through this, as hopefully we all are, when when we can maybe have some leadership on the national level of our country in the in the future.
Tell me about it.
Yes, sir.
I think even just from the perspective of like with the national, but yeah, I just think even from the perspective of what local musicians are doing and the efforts that local musicians are making, I really do have a certain amount of faith that it's going to be better. That we're going to come back to something where you're going to see more ownership from musicians, and you're going to see more demand from musicians, not even just demand for musicians. They're going to want us. They've always wanted us. But I think there's going to be a new level of like what we demand of ourselves, both musically and economically.
We got one more. We're gonna wrap it up soon. We got one more. We're gonna squeeze in. We get a quick answer. One of you guys can answer this. This is from a gentleman, saxophone player that I play with down here. His name is Brennan. He said, have you found your practice schedules to have changed as a result of the pandemic, or do you treat that as an anchor to your life right now?
Nah, I've been practicing as much as ever. If I'm just to like, keep it 100, like this didn't change. This just changed how many gigs I'm doing. It didn't change how much dedication like I was putting into my craft. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Not to dissuade or persuade anybody, but like, yeah, I mean, I took a few days off in a row, which was weird for me, but other than that, it's been real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been, for me, I haven't had this much time to shed since college, so for me, it's really been giving me a chance to deal with a lot of stuff that I always would like, put off to the side. So for me, practicing is what's keeping me sane, honestly. It's really like, that's really keeping me motivated, and it's really giving me a chance to like come out of this thing better, and really use my time. So I've been spending a lot of time practicing.
If anything, it's kind of like, it's what I've practicing and what I think we've all been practicing that's changed. Because
Right.
like I'm not practicing on anybody else's agenda anymore. I'm not dealing with anybody else's music and like preparing for other people's gigs. It's just like, no, bro, I'm gonna sit here with my sound for hours
and deal with stuff that I want
it.
to deal with. Yeah. That's very true, bro. Because you know, we're always working on a gig. We're always working on somebody else's music for a session or some type of thing. Now it's like, you know, I can just dig into some records that I just like. You know, like, let me just, you know, I've been really getting back into just like a lot of records, man. And so just a lot of, you know, just earlier today, man, I was dealing with a lot of Art Blakey. You know, I was dealing with a lot of, you know, Elvin and just, you know, how they got the sound that they got, you know. So it's really been, you know, for me, just a new age of exploration, and like how I was in college, you know, just sitting in the room and just, you know, dealing with records, you know, fast forward and rewinding and trying to get these little nuances, you know, and you know, it's been like we out at HMU, bro.
Right.
You know.
Well, yo, fellas, I want to say, man, y'all been awesome. Y'all been wonderful guests this evening, man. I appreciate you boys so much. Miss playing with y'all. I'm gonna put it out there right now. Everybody, you know, who's watching this, I am available. I got the equipment set. No bass.
Plug.
Don't act
out there.
Come on, man. Don't act like I don't play bass now. Don't act like hey, John, we've been talking about collabo. Chris, we've been I've been bugging Gerald about playing some more stuff, so he already know.
You already know,
Say, man. The three of us are here. So I'm just saying, whenever you're gonna drive your ass down here, we can do all that collabo.
I say, you got a place to stay.
I know, man. I'm straight. But yo, fellas, thank y'all so much. Everybody who's tuning in, if you like watching my web show, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Excuse me, Brandon Robertson Soul Hour. Also subscribe to my music channel, which is Brandon Robertson Music. Follow me on Facebook at Brandon Robertson Music. Follow me on Instagram, Brandon Robertson Music. Pew, 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 pew. Check out my website. Y'all follow Jonathan and Gerald and Chris on all their social medias. Make sure you check out Jonathan's record, Walk Don't Run. Please make sure you check that record. That record freaking fire. Gerald Watkins is on that record too.
Yeah, he is.
Don't know if Chris helped mix or produce that record, but if he did, shout out to you, Chris, if you did.
I recorded it and mixed it and mastered it.
So you already know we in the bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have the lovely and beautiful, talented, who just celebrated a birthday, Miss Carmen Bradford. I'm gonna have her on the show next week.
Nice.
We're gonna be getting into some history, y'all.
Nice.
Next Tuesday is my birthday, so I demand a shout out.
Birthday, and thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all have a great evening, man. Y'all stay safe. Make sure y'all wear your mask. Make sure you wear your mask. Watch 20 seconds and all that good stuff. And yo, fellas, y'all stay safe over there in the NO. Tell everybody I said what up. Y'all take care, man. Y'all be blessed.
Peace and love to you, man.
And thank you.